What I need you to remember, what I want you to remember, my gorgeous Sagittarius, when it comes to the month of November 2021, something is going to inspire you in between the 11th, 12th, 13th and 14th of November 2021. Something is going to inspire you, and this is going to become a rather mind-blowing stage of your life. Because things that didn't make sense, suddenly they will make sense, and things that were bringing you down, suddenly they're about to bring you up. And this in itself, it's going to become evident through your feelings, through your emotions, through your own inspiration, but especially by the time you get to the actual last week of November 2021, you will know what to do, you will know where to go, you will know exactly which path to take. But the difference this time is that you wouldn't be aware of that specific path if you didn't go through what you went through at around the mid-November 2021, specifically in between the 11th and the 15th of November 2021. So this in itself is really important. My name is Sasha Bonasin and I'm a psychic medium, and this is your monthly horoscope tarot card reading, and it's for you, my gorgeous Sagittarius, Sagittarini, and it's for November 2021. So this monthly horoscope tarot card forecast is for you, my gorgeous Sagittarini, and it's for November 2021. I mean, come on, you know, this is going to be really important, but at the same time, the more you give a credit to yourself, the more you're going to achieve. The more you give a credit to your weirdness, the more you're going to achieve. This is so important to mention, to give a credit to your weirdness, because the energy is going to be really weird and a little bit unusual throughout the month of November. But you will see almost instantly, as soon as you focus on a very specific and relevant part of your life that you want to kind of take on the next step, you know, this is just going to really kind of increase your spiritual intuition to the point where you're gonna find like a specific parts of your future so vivid, and you will just want to get there. You will want to kind of do things that you were so uncertain about, you know, and it's pretty much so to do with an uncertain outlook, you know, that was holding you down, but also the realization that the power is in you, the power is within you, and you, my gorgeous Sagittarini, you possess this, like you have this very specific power around you, within you. When you kind of set your mind to something, you just do it so quickly, my baby, just like a little arrow, and you just do this and it's bam, gone. And this is exactly what I'm talking about, because if you're focusing on your life, if you're focusing on things that you want to achieve without any distraction from the outside world, it's going to be absolutely mind-blowing. Your number, when it comes to numerology, it's number 777. This, my gorgeous Sagittarini, is important. This, my gorgeous Sagittarini, is significant. This, my gorgeous Sagittarini, is showing you that you are gonna have such a mind-blowing opportunity this month of November. But at the same time, you need to remember that there is a very important information that you are going to get hold of. Very important, specific information that you're gonna get hold of within the first 11 days of November. And that specific message that you're gonna get hold of is gonna change everything. It's gonna seem crazy, weird, bizarre, but then again, it's your realization, you know, about things that are happening around you. Nothing to do with specifically with your life, but my Lord, so much to do with your next step. You just have to follow your intuition, but at the same time, you need to remain honest with yourself, because, you know, number 777 is just like about an important message that you're gonna have within the first 11 days also. But this specific message that I'm talking about, it's to do with your own success. Okay, this one that I'm talking about now, it's to do with your own success. This is very important because however you look at it, you're gonna find yourself with more. You know, whether this is to do with your knowledge, whether this is to do with your materialistic life, you know. However, this is going to lead towards an advancement in your life. And when it comes to, on one hand, overcoming very, very annoying obstacle, which was slowing you down, and that was a challenge that was pretty much so very heavy, and it was like a very affecting you over the last 8 months. But then on another hand, it's a victory that you are going to have. And this is why this is so important. What victory this is going to be within the first 11 days. How are you going to feel? What do you think, you know, what are you going to think about as soon as you become aware of that victory? Where does your mind take you? But what is blocking you from actually going further? There is some kind of blockage that it's going to be revealed, but at the same time, your own passion, it's actually going to help you to see things through for what they are, and also to become aware of your own power. Your power is immense. As soon as you understand things around you on a very, very high and specific level, because you're going to come across very strange and unusual things throughout the actual month. But that in itself, it's also going to open your eyes, going to make you realize some devilish people and how weird and bizarre and strange some strange devilish people can be. But this is, hey, going to work in your favor, because most certainly it is just going to require from you to make a certain adjustment when it comes to your life, but this is going to be a really beneficial moment indeed. On another hand, you know, it's basically about the actual, also you are going to have a very successful negotiation, and I'm so happy here. Okay, this is going to be so important for you, and that particular successful negotiation that I'm talking about is most certainly going to take place in between the 11th of November and the end of that month. This is very, very important, more important than you can possibly imagine, because that negotiation is like a pretty much so very relevant part of your life, which is not only going to change your life, but it's going to change the life of people around you, and through you, people are going to understand so much more about things that they didn't understand before. So it's about communication, but it's this month, but it's also about shining your light as an example to others. If you're aware of like a very much so like a strange and unusual things, you know, you need to kind of like come out of yourself as much as you possibly can, and you need to make sure that the people that are dear to you, people that are important to you, people that are so close, you know, to your life, are also aware of it as well. So this is really important. On another hand, you know, that negotiation, it's also showing and saying that if you do need to kind of talk about something really important, if you need to discuss something really important, my gorgeous Sagittarini, I would highly suggest you to actually do this in between the 11th and the end of that month. This stage and this period, it's going to increase your personal vibration, which is on another hand going to make you to do and say the right things which are going to come from the deepest parts of your subconscious mind. So you most certainly, you can't do wrong. You can't get things wrong. You can't do wrong because you're guided by your spirit. You're guided by your soul. This is very important indeed. So if you do need to have negotiation, you do it in between the 11th of actual November and the end of that month. And that negotiation can just be chat with somebody really weird that you don't like chatting, but you have to discussing the certain problem, whatever, you know. There's so many, it's a very complex, and there's so many kind of different elements of life that are attached to this particular situation. So it depends on your spiritual journey. However, this is going to lead towards a really great improvement when it comes to your life. And somebody, you know, like very strong in somebody very powerful, somebody very different, somebody very unusual, somebody with a very strong energy, somebody who has got a really interesting balance of their own spirituality, their own success, their own quirkiness within them, somebody with a very strong and powerful energy, but positive energy. It's also going to come out to you, and they're going to tell you something very specific. They will pinpoint something so kind of unusual about yourself that that you need to pay attention to. And first of all, you're going to be like, oh, come on, man. But then again, later, a few days later, as the time goes by, this is going to make sense more and more and more, because it's coming from someone who is very much so like appreciative in your life, but somebody who means to you so much. And that particular person is going to be playing an important role, because after that moment in time, when you get this particular information from that person, when you're told this, you're going to start looking at your life from a slightly different level, but specifically when it comes to like things that are more important and things that are less important. Somehow they're going to pinpoint you towards the part of your life that you should be really much so very strongly paying attention to not to forget who you are, to not to forget what you do, to not to forget to enjoy your life, but at the same time to not to forget about some kind of big, massive, enormous, big mama change that you wanted to make, you wanted to do, you wanted to create when it comes to your immediate environment. Don't ignore it, because this is going to reflect on you and your energy rather lovely. This is the time when the energy is going to pick up as well, because you are following your own energy, and that is in itself going to make a huge impact. And by the time you get to the 22nd of December, yes, I said December 2021, this is going to pretty much so be the second stage of this. There is another option and going to become irrelevant at around that time. But then again, that option, it's just gonna bring you very, very kind of like a delicious idea at the same time. So this is, my gorgeous Sagittarius, very, very important indeed. You need to understand this, that you will be noticed this month. Your energy will be very strong, and it's not only about November. You say it's November and December. And December, it's a big mama. It's your time, of course. December, time to remember for you, my gorgeous Sagittarius, of course. But then November, it's also kind of the energy. It's also already going to start picking up. It's going to start being very kind of like a high when it comes to its vibration. So pay attention to the ideas. Pay attention to what because it's a lot to do with your specific spiritual journey, but it's also to do with the options and opportunities that you wouldn't normally notice. So this is very important time to pay attention to any kind of like things that you want to advance yourself at when it comes to your life, because you are going to be noticed. Your energy is going to be very much so will be very strong throughout the actual month of November. So it's time to prove yourself. It's time to prove your point. It's time to put your foot down. It's time to actually think about the next step, but there is also going to be a strong element of the revisiting an old plan from the past, but something that was pretty much so in your life within the last 4 and 5 years kind of perished slowly. So this is going to be the return of the old you, but also most importantly the part of you that is missing. It's about to help you realize with that particular balance that the certain part of your life doesn't make sense. So that's something that you need to kind of make the relevant adjustment, because it's slowly coming to an end, but you are going to become aware of it, because this is the time of transformation, and it's going to be pinpointed on the 27th of November actually. What part of your life it just made you really boring and it's making you feel really low and really dark, and that means that karmically that came to an end. So that's completely natural, but it's important to pay attention to and to cut it out of your life, make the necessary adjustment, and then you are actually going to you're gonna kind of make the most of it indeed. So now 777, it's fantastic, because it's about the actual somebody on one hand, somebody who is really ingenuine, and somebody who's like doesn't make sense. You will be able to prove your point, and this is going to be brilliant as well. So the certain mask is going to fall. Behind that mask is not going to be a face, but it's going to be like lots of worms but it's like basically it's going to be brilliant for you, because it's going to help you to remove yourself from the person or a group of people who would just kind of be very negative for you as well. So you have to follow your intuition. But on another hand, it's like about you also having a reward from a hard work. Keep doing what you are doing. Keep going, my gorgeous Sagittarius, because it's not going to be that long until I see the progress from the hard work, And then on another hand, just don't forget about the successful dealings that I'm talking about. It's dealings compromise. It's going to be mind-blowing as long as you're actually doing this throughout the month of November, because it's so much that you're actually going to get out of it. But then on another hand, you know, it's about reorganizations. You know, you will know that you're going to need to, you're going to become, this is the message, this is the information that you're going to have. You're going to become aware just out of the blue. You're going to wake up at around the 7th of November in the morning. At around the 7th of November in the morning, you're going to wake up and suddenly it's going to come to you. You will know that the results of certain efforts are nearly due. You will know at around the 7th of November 2021. You're going to wake up and you will know just exactly what this says. At around the 7th, so it could be 6th, 7th or 8th of November, but the 7th is going to be big mama when it comes to like weighing on things and making the step further and then realizing that something is missing. So this is all going to make sense. So just remember, you're going to become aware of the results of efforts that are nearly due, but at the same time, pay attention within these 3 days when it comes to reorganization in your life. When it comes to reorganization in your life, what exactly do you need to kind of make an adjustment, you know, about? And when you think about that, you know, that is on one hand going to make you like really excited in a certain way, but also a little bit impatient, you know. And that impatience, it's maybe going to like kind of like put you on the path with someone where there is going to be a little bit conflicting influence, but that person is going to have a strong energy, very kind of lots of negative things about that person and that energy, not necessarily against you, but maybe they are going to quite a lot in life. They have been going to quite a lot in life. So there is some kind of thing that is unfolding in their life in a negative way. So they're maybe going to be reflecting this on you. However, it's going to lead towards this conflicting influence that I need you to pay attention to. And you just need to remember, baby, you follow your own path. This is the time when you need to put your foot down, no matter what, how strong these people are. They can drain our energy like a little vampires, energy vampires, you know, and they drain your energy and you're sucked dry. And then that means that there is nothing left in order for you to kind of like go forward until you re-energize and recharge yourself, which means that they take over a little bit with their own energy, purely because they drained our energy. So, and then we find ourselves like a little bit in between, and then we don't respond in the right way. We respond. The outcome of that is that we respond in the way they want us to respond, and then when we go home, we are like, I should have said this, I should have said that. So you just need to be aware of the little energy vampires. But the bottom line for that is to protect yourself. Ultimately, is just to kind of put your foot down and do what you want to do when it comes to that conflicting influence, and don't take anything to heart as well. On another hand, you know, it is bringing you very much so, someone is going to come forward to you and going to let you know about a certain progress and movement, you know, when it comes to something very specific in your life. And that in itself is going to allow you and give you the opportunity to make a really important decision. As soon as you make that important decision, you know, there is not going to be that long, few days after, you will know that you did the right thing. And this happens at the time of transformation. So this is nothing unusual. So this is also the time of transformation. There is a lot happening. By the same time, you go with this flow, you go with this vibration, but actually trying to change things around you that are very stale. Like try to change room a little bit around, try to change a little like a lamps, you know, try to change a little like a kitties, you know, little like a statues, little plants, you know. You will see that every single time you do this is the power of yin yang, you know. At the same time, you increase your own vibration as well. This is pretty much so necessary to do, because it picks up on so much and that reflects on us. So it's a great time to actually kind of see what you can kind of get rid of and what new you can bring into your home. You know, it's a perfect time for that, basically. And then on another hand, what else I was going to say, just remember that throughout the month of November, this is an absolutely big mama time, good time to begin new projects, okay? Because your personal power is going to be absolutely superb when it comes to your intellect, when it comes to spirituality, when it comes to your spiritual energy. This is the time to tap into your creativity. This is the time to tap into your creativity, because it's going to be mind-blowing where the creativity is actually going to take you. Very important. You tapping into your own creativity is at the same time giving food, spiritual food to your wings. You know, the more you tap into your own creativity, the quicker your beautiful wings are actually going to grow. So this is why this is so important, okay? On another hand, you know, it's just basically Oh, it's highly fertile time, when it comes to fertility, or if anyone want to have a babies, it's when it comes to fertility and things like that, this is a highly fertile time as well, November 2021. So, I'm just letting you know. On another hand, I really like it because by the end of November, it's all about a fresh start, and it's all pretty much so to do with a certain delays, and also that it's going to bring a sudden and unexpected progress. But this will be really, really good because it's all about a positive change in your life indeed. When it comes to health, my gorgeous Sagittarians, it's rather important to say what I've said before, and this is, I will say it again, I'm sorry, I have to. You need to kind of like boost your immune system like there is no tomorrow. So organic acerola cherry powder, organic acerola cherry capsules, organic camu camu powder, organic camu camu capsules, both of these supplements are natural, they're superb, they're one of the best things that you can get when it comes to the actual natural vitamin C content. So this is something that I would need you to take every single day alongside natural vitamin D3 and alongside natural zinc. I mentioned before, it doesn't matter if you are every day in the sun. So I would still need you to take a natural vitamin D3 and for the maximum impact when it comes to boosting your immune system. This is important. And on another hand, I know that your bones are going to be a little bit sensitive, my gorgeous Sagittarius, so I would highly suggest you something like an extra calcium, or products with an extra calcium would do you good. And also magnesium. Magnesium is just so important because it's going to help you on so many different levels, because you may feel a little bit restless throughout the months. And also magnesium is just something that good natural magnesium, you're going to find this quite beneficial in so many different ways, and you will see exactly what I mean, because at the same time it's going to also be beneficial to boost your immune system, but you will see that it's going to kind of like make you feel so much like kind of calmer. It's going to help you like to kind of fall asleep nicely. It's going to help you to have like a nicer and beneficial sleep. By the same time, it's quite important when it comes to your muscles as well. And I think that your skeleton, your body just needs a little bit of like rejuvenation that you will most certainly get through the actual magnesium as well. If you're on any other medications, if you are pregnant or if you're breastfeeding, then you just need to check with your doctor. You just need to check with your GP. Only your doctor or GP can tell you whether this can interact with your existing medications, my gorgeous Sagittarians, or not. So now going on the first dates that are going to be really important, but before I go there, I would highly suggest you something like a black obsidian. It's like a must, because you will be kind of like aware of a lot. You will be finding out quite a lot. You will be in touch with lots of people throughout the actual months of November and December. And even if you are physically in touch with people or not physically, maybe on the phone, through an email, conversation, blah, 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 it doesn't really matter. It's still the ability to actually drain our energy if they're negative or they're talking about something negative. So it has such an impact on you, but then again you've got other things to discuss, you see, and then by the time you want to say something you want to say, then you're drained, and then you just kind of only remember later on. Black obsidian is fantastic because it's going to help you to protect your energy. It's going to help you to ground yourself before you talk to people or before you express yourself. And also it's fantastic when it comes to inspiration. Okay, very perfect little crystal indeed. This comes with the sterling silver setting and the sterling silver chain, and the link to buy this is in the description below. By buying things from my channel, my gorgeous Sagittarini, you're also supporting my channel as well. So the 1st and the 2nd of November, it is going to be a bit of a little obstacle that you are going to have here. Just pay attention to what is this obstacle that you are going to have. And this obstacle, it's going to come through you realizing somebody very vicious. It's through you realizing maybe that somebody is like a kind of very vicious, somebody was vicious, not necessarily to you completely, but it's like about the viciousness of someone, and that in itself is going to confuse you, but most importantly it's going to bring you clarity where you didn't you will find out what you didn't know, and this is going to open your eyes, and it will make you think that you're not capable. This energy is also kind of going to be very confusing, because it's going to make you think that you're not capable of doing something making a certain step, but just remember that you are. Just remember this. This is so important, because it's about the idea in between the 1st and the 2nd of November 2021. This is when this idea is going to come up, and by the time you get to the 7th of November, this idea is going to be absolutely obvious. This idea is brilliant. It's going to make you feel so good. On one hand, it's going to help you to deal with a life that brought you so much of the stress, negativity, sadness, darkness, excessive pressures, overburdened feeling. You will know by doing this that the problems are soon about to be resolved. And you're going to realize this, because by the time you get to the actual 7th of November, you just have to be open-minded, baby. You just have to be open-minded, as simple as that, because on the 7th of November, you're actually going to have a reason for celebration, because the compromise, an absolutely reason for celebration you're going to have here. A bit of a compromise is going to take place, but most certainly this is going to be brilliant, good news, success, advancement, the desire to do more, to go on the next step. It's all going to kind of make sense here, and also it's going to bring a very healing, beautiful feeling into your life, which is going to re-energize you in itself. But on another hand, it's about the inspiration that you are going to have. This is absolutely mind-blowing time for you, my gorgeous Sagittarini, indeed. But the next date is the 13th of November, and I would also like to suggest you something like a tiger's eye crystal. Is like a must, especially when we are kind of going on an advanced stage when it comes to our work, career, finances, planning. Tiger's eye crystal is brilliant because it increases your vibration, it sharpens you up nicely, but also on another hand, it really helps you to express yourself and to impress people that you want to impress. But on another hand, it's fantastic when it comes to a planning. It's fantastic when it comes to career, finances. It's a brilliant good luck crystal, but also at the same time, it has got this mind-blowing ability to actually protect us against evil eye. Sometimes people can actually give us an evil eye without even wanting to do so. It really depends what's going on in their life, and it depends when we find ourselves around them as well. So this is something I would highly suggest you. This comes with the sterling silver setting and the sterling silver chain, and the link to buy this is in the description below. But buying things from my channel, you're also supporting my channel as well. I have to say that. The second important date, it's all about 13th of November. It's all about important projects over here. Pay attention to any important projects when it comes to the actual 13th of November. But on another hand, it's about you will see something. You will be able to connect on a very kind of a deep level. Something is going to inspire you. Something is going to get to know that particular specific part of your life that you just want to jump in. Remember, my babies, if you don't jump in the water, you will never learn how to swim. Now it's time to jump in the water, because these projects, these things that is going to be on your mind, that you're going to see, this inspiration, it's really going to work out brilliantly, and it's going to become a very important and successful part of your life later on. So you really need to pay attention to this, because at the same time, there is a very unexpected situation going to take place on the 13th of November as well, later on in a day. And that unexpected situation, it's going to you're going to find this rather mind-blowing, because you're going to be really surprised, because things that you thought that are going to be very negative and bad are going to turn out to be really positive for you, at least when it comes to the actual experience, when it comes to you being that much more wise. There is some kind of wiseness that you're going to actually get out of that situation, which is almost immediately going to lead towards you making a really important decision, judgment. But on another hand, it's you need to remember that this is time of improvement, development, promotion, and also at the same time, you are going literally from the 13th of November until the end of that month. This is your personal spiritual rebirth, which means that there are going to be a lot of things on your mind that you feel connected to, that you weren't connected to before. And it's most certainly to pay attention to what this actually is. Also, the 13th, in between the 13th and the 18th of November, you're going to have a spiritual karma mama moment. which means that you need to let someone go. You're still holding on to someone. You're still angry with someone, and you need to let them go. In between the 13th and the 11th of November 2021, there is someone that is specifically going to come back into your mind, someone that you are really angry with, someone that you had something to do with in the past, and they did something, and I'm not judging, I'm not saying anything, but this is to do with you, and it's to do with your spiritual journey. So you're going to have a very important karmic moment when you're going to feel angry with this person, XYZ, and you will be thinking about them, and you may not even be aware of it, but I hope you are, because it's going to help you to move on, you know. And it's also karmically going to give you an opportunity to move on from that particular person, and if you forgive them instead of being angry, you're just going to cut that person beautifully out of your life, and your spirit is going to elevate almost immediately. And if you don't do it, if you still carry on, oh yeah, bastard, this and that, you know, if you still carry on like that, then you're just gonna have to like kind of repeat this is gonna have to repeat until you kind of cut them out of your life. And you can only do it with your own, you know, power, with your own observation, with your own realization. You know, now it's time to move on from that particular person, and that in itself, you know, it's going to be very beneficial for you, because almost few days later there is a very kind of interesting path going to start unfolding for you. But it's only going to be the beginning, you know, only the beginning. On another hand, the 13th of November, just remember, it's to do with a new plan, but it's not new. It's something that you wanted to do like about 14 months ago. You attempted it, or you were just kind of like wanted it to do, but you had to leave it aside because there were so many things that were happening around you, so you just wanted to kind of leave it aside. So now this is this is very specific, and it's important for you to take it on. So it's like a new plan, a new journey, but it's not really new. It's just you kind of like going back kind of a little bit into your past and taking the relevant part of yourself and bringing it here and carrying on. Now you will know it's time, most certainly, and this is going to make you feel really good, because before you would kind of stop, but now you will have the necessary confidence. You're going to feel some uncertain efforts, but then you will know that this is the right thing to do. Indeed, by the time you get to the 16th of September 2022, this is going to take off. Okay, by the time you get to the 16th of September 2022, this is actually going to take off. So you see how complex this reading is, but it's also giving you the chance, you know, to understand the timestamps, how long is something going to take if the certain new projects come up, and you're uncertain the outcome, you see. Okay, so the third important date, it's going to be Sagittarini, Sagittarini, Sagittari, Sagittari, Sagitterini, 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 Sagittari, Sagittari, Sagitterini. Raise your vibration, Sagitterini, Sagitterini, Sagittari, Sagittari, Sagitterini, 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 Sagittari, Sagittari, Sagitterini. Pam 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 param pam 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 para pam para pam pa 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 pam 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 param pam pam pa pam para pam pa 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 pararam pam 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 pa para pa para pam para pam para pam pa 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 pararam. My gorgeous Sagittarini, the third important date is going to be the 27th of November 2021. Now this is the time of your personal change, and this is the time when you're really gonna realize the specific path of your life, the specific journey, it's going to need some kind of abandonment from you. It's going to need a readjustment, and this is going to be very positive when it comes to your life, because karmically this specific part of your life it will come to an end, and it's maybe going to surprise you a little bit, but at the same time it's going to bring you more thirst for knowledge, and that's how you will start feeling like the certain part when it comes to your future. You're going to start feeling certain parts of your future really relevant by making the certain readjustment. This is very, very important indeed, but you're also going to become aware of the certain sacrifice that you are going to need to make as well. So it's very important to pay attention to what this actual sacrifice is now. This is the time of your own strength, is the time when you're going to feel almost immediately going to start feeling like control over a situation. As soon as you pay attention to what this like sacrifice is, almost immediately you may not need to, or you may not want to make this straight away, do this straight away, but just thinking about it, just focusing on it, not only on the 27th but 28th, for example, of November, you will see like every single time this is going to like kind of inspire you, and that in itself is going to make you aware of what a beautiful effect this has on your life, and that it's coming from you feeling confidence, self-esteem, your power, because you're slowly going to have a control over a situation that was really driving you absolutely crazy, draining so much energy out of you over the last 24 months. Like, oh my god. So this is going to be really big moment. This is going to be really big moment indeed. You're going to feel very pleased with yourself as well, but then again at the same time you're going to learn how to cherish those parts of you that are so different, and you're going to learn how to cherish how is important to take care of yourself first, and then once you take care of yourself, think about other people. You have to love yourself in order to love others. It's important indeed. And also the 27th of November, this is also going to be an important day when it comes to a very specific people coming into your life. The 27th of November, it's going to let you know, it's going to make you aware of the fact that there are some very important people about to start walking into your life who are most certainly going to make a mind-blowing, much needed change. This will be very, very precious indeed, okay? And the way you're going to realize this is going to happen in the most bizarre and the most weird and the most unusual way. But however, it's going to really kind of make a strong impact on your life. And that in itself, it's really kind of going to put you on the path. The 27th of November, it's about the path that is slowly about to start opening to you, and this path is most certainly going to be very significant when it comes to you, because also at the same time the certain capability that you need to pay attention to is just going to start coming out of you. The long forgotten part of you, it's going to be screaming to come out, and that in itself is going to be very relevant indeed when it comes to you making a huge accomplishment in your life, which is exactly going to have a very much a strong connection with this, later on in the year 2022. Very important to pay attention to. Just remember, the 27th of November is going to remind you how anything is possible. Just remember, in a good way and in a really weird and bizarre and a strange way. There are certain masks that are going to fall, but at the same time this is going to be superb for you. Remember that this is also kind of like the time where it's just like it's the good time for the new projects. Don't forget that this is a good time for the new projects indeed. So now, my gorgeous Sagittarini, I'm just going to see what is briefly going to happen, what to pay attention to in the first part of November, mid part of November, and the last part of November. Now, the first part of November, my lord, it's all about you kind of like if you're meditating, there is a lot going to come to you, like mind-blowing things are going to come to you, and it's going to be weird, but it's going to be good, it's going to be brilliant, because you're going to start becoming aware of something very specific in your life that it's missing. Something that is missing is going to really become obvious. And on another hand, if you can achieve this through the actual meditation, contemplation at the same time, or just meditation, or like when you're relaxing, when you're chilling out, when you're sitting down and you start drifting away, slowly slowly sleeping, and then this is the stage and period in between the us being awake, conscious, and us being like sleeping, you know. But that period in between, it just brings you, my Lord, it brings you the whole new world. And this is what I'm talking about, you know. You need to pay attention to what is going to be coming to you. It's going to be very interesting indeed. The mid part of November, just remember, okay, there is going to be really kind of powerful, very kind of unusual emotional experience that you are going to have. But that I say unusual emotional experience because through that emotional experience, first of all, you're going to be confused, but then again, you will realize how powerful you are. Very important lesson. Okay, the third part of November, you know, I want to prepare you that there is a very exciting intellectual challenge that it's going to come up, you know, which is going to bring you like a really mind-blowing insight. But on another hand, it's to do with an information that you're going to have, but it's going to be quite challenging to receive. So you just need to remember not to rush with anything, in particular when it comes to the certain documents and things like that. You need to review all documents rather carefully indeed. Okay, so now I go to Sagittarini. I'm just going to see what is going to happen in the first part of what am I talking about? My Lord! My gorgeous Sagittarini. I'm just going to see what's going to happen for those of you in relationship. Okay, so now my gorgeous Sagittarini. Basically, for those of you in relationship, my Lord, it was a little problem that affected both of you so much. And the problem that affected both of you actually goes a while back, because over the last 16 months, there was a bit of a tower situation that you both had. And this was like a no baby no. This was like a big mama problem. This was like a huge problem. A tower situation that took place, that happened within the last 16 months. And you were both affected so much by this, like, my Lord. And that affected you. So now, you know, this is slowly kind of going to start coming to an end. And I really like it because there is a very important message that you're both going to have. And that message is going to answer a big question to both of you. But most importantly, is to do with your own stability. Okay, so this is to do with your own stability. So you will know that you are ready, that you will be prepared to go on the next step. So something that was slowing you down is slowly going to start unfold itself right in front of you. So this is brilliant indeed. Okay, so now when it comes to those of you that are single and ready to mingy, now this is important, my gorgeous Sagittarini, because I already mentioned, you know, on the 27th of November and after, there are some very important people that are slowly going to start flowing into your life indeed. But when it comes to, I say this because, you know, there is one going to be very special person, somebody very special, like stranger in the night, Sagittarini in the morning, stranger in the night, Sagittarini in the morning. My Lord. Yes, so it is basically, you know what? This is how it's going to happen. You are going to be recognized at a very kind of important part of your life that is so important to you. So on one hand, you will be recognized. So you're going to be shining really brightly. Just remember, you will be able to achieve so much. Just show yourself somewhere and you don't even need to talk much. Your energy is just going to be talking like there is no tomorrow. So on one hand, your energy is going to be recognized. On another hand, you are going to recognize something very special about your life. Exactly what you need to do in order to bring someone special into your life. So this is something you need to pay attention to because it's connected to you changing place, or you're doing something different. What you do on a daily basis, there is something that is going to change, and that particular change is going to bring you this interesting person into your life. But it's going to happen at around the time when you want to kind of make an ultimate change, you know, and it's through your own capability that you're going to be able to do this, and you're going to become at the same time aware of rewards from hard work. Admiration from others is going to mean so much to you. Why am I saying this to you? Because at around the same time, you're going to make a decision. You're going to change something that you do on a daily basis. And what you're going to change is just basically going to put you on a path with somebody very special, somebody very powerful, somebody very significant, and somebody who is going to make a really huge change and impact on your life. Sagittarini in the morning. So I don't think it's going to be that long until you meet someone. That particular person may make themselves known in in November, but it really could be at around the mid of December as well. So it really doesn't matter if they make themselves known in November, but you will know by doing one little thing, changing one little thing. This is exactly what is going to start this wonderful spiritual love domino, which is going to bring you this wonderful person into your life, and it's not even going to be that long. Okay, my gorgeous Sagittarini, I love you all so much. Thank you ever so much for watching my videos. I'm sending you brightest blessings, lots of love, healing, peace and light. So I'm sending you brightest blessings, lots of love, healing, peace and light to every single one of you. Thank you ever so much for watching my videos. Sasha Bonasin, Psychic Medium. Love you. Bye. Mwah.